All right, hey guys. Probably gonna be a long video today, so let's just jump right in. All right, so we're gonna start cognitive and social development. The next few videos are on cognitive and social development. There's a lot to know. It does kind of overlap with social psych, which social psych is not directly on the exam, but because there's some overlapping, we do have to go over some of this stuff still. All right, so real quick, starting from really young age with babies. Hey, what's up? Yeah, temperament, which is a pattern of babies' behaviors and interactions with others. You have babies with an easy temperament who are probably thought of as very friendly. They don't cry when other people hold them, besides their mom and dad. Then you have difficult, exactly like it sounds like. They are easily to irritate. And then you have slow to warm up, right? So if you go to pick up a baby that's family friends and they don't want anything to do with you, but 20 minutes later as they hear your voice and see you more and more, and then they warm up to you, so those are the three kind of temperaments. Okay, so something you need to know is called strange situation. It's from the 1970s. Mary Ainsworth is the psychologist who does this. Strange situation. Okay, so it's a procedure to observe attachment in children. The relationship between the caregiver and the child. Okay. There's four different ones to go over with, but basically it's infant. It's like 9 to 18 months old in that neighborhood. Ainsworth recognized four attachment styles: secure, insecure, ambivalent, and avoidant. Proximity and contact seeking. They look at how often the baby sought contact, maintained contact, shied away from contact, avoided, resisted, all that kinds of stuff. Ainsworth argues that a child's attachment style is dependent on the behavior their mom shows towards them, right? So from that 0 to 9 months before this, we're looking at the infants, 0 to 9 months, the behavior that was shown to that child by the mom, the dad, the caregivers, that is going to play a huge role in this attachment style of the infant. The level of sensitivity, the amount of response a parent gives, so when a child falls to the ground and they are picked up right away, versus a child who falls to the ground, cries, and then waits to be picked up. I mean, kids pick up on that, okay? All right, so secure. Child explores and plays freely when mom is present, knowing they can return to mom if needed. They have that base of security right there. The child will engage with strangers and others because the presence of the mom being there gives the child a sense of security, okay? It helps the child feel confident. Anxious avoidant, okay? So this is kind of one that insecure. Anxious avoidant will avoid or ignore the caregiver, show little emotion when mom leaves the room, and I'm just using mom as an example, but when mom leaves the room, shows little emotion when the mom returns to the room. The child does not freely explore no matter who is present. The child does not exhibit stress when separated from their primary caregiver. The child needs have not been met, and the child believes that communication or attachment or happiness towards a parent won't impact whether their needs are met or not. Anxious avoidant, okay, so another insecure one. Anxious ambivalent. So persistent, shows distress even before separation. The child is very clingy. The child is difficult to calm down when irritated. If the child or if the mom leaves the room, the child freaks out, and the mom returns and the child is picked up, the child is still very difficult to calm down. They resent the caregiver for leaving them. So they take offense to that when the mom leaves the room. Could be a response to unpredictable caregiving by a parent in previous settings. And this causes anger or helplessness. So when the baby is hungry and the mom leaves the room, that separation brings a lot of anxiety and insecurity to the kid, even though the mom returns. But over time, every time that mom leaves, it brings back this sense of insecurity and this sense of ambivalence, and the child kind of freaks out. And the fourth one is disorganized or disoriented. Show a mixture of both avoidance and resistance. May seem dazed, may seem confused, may kind of lack of response to cues or saying the name or asking the baby to crawl to them or walk to them, anything like that. The child may seem overly cautious and unsure of itself, tend to show a lack of clear attachment behavior. So a lack of happiness when the parent returns or picks them up, and a lack of anger and a lack of confusion or presence of confusion. The caregiver both comforts and secures the child, and the child is just kind of in this consistent state of uncertainty about what's going to happen. Okay, so secure it. The child is able to separate from the parent. So the parent can leave the child. The parent can leave the room, right? The parent is able, or the child is able to separate. The child is able to seek comfort. The child is positive upon return of the caregiver, is positive with contact, and what else here? And definitely prefers parents to strangers. Avoidant may avoid parents, do not seek comfort or contact from the parents, like hugging or picking up, and show little preference to parents over strangers. Ambivalent, scared of strangers, distressed when parents leave, difficult to comfort when parents return. Okay, so that's kind of a quick rundown there. All right, so got another full page of notes here for you. Oh, and something else, Ainsworth. So she does the studies with the children, and then the big question that psychology had for her was, what kind of adults will these children turn into over time if they have these kind of attachment issues? All right, so something cool. Two psychologists, Gibson and Walk, they have this visual cliff, right? So real quick, just as brief as I can make it, you put a child kind of on a table, and you give the child an illusion, like a pattern of the table, pattern of cloth. You give the child an illusion that there's a drop off, there's a cliff, right? In reality, there's clear glass there. So even if the child crawls over the cliff, it's really just crawling on a clear glass. But basically, Gibson and Walk, they're just researching the use of depth perception or depth cues by infants. It allows people or researchers to detect depth. The conclusion is depth perception ability begins with the ability to crawl. So as a child is able to crawl and kind of trial and error and learn from experience, the child also develops kind of a sense of depth cues and depth perception. The still face experiment. Mommy doesn't respond to baby's efforts at communication. So when baby is laughing or baby is crying or baby is trying to play peekaboo or whatever it might be, the mom is just deadpan. I mean, no response whatsoever. And this is an experiment. Dr. Ed Trenick is who does this in the 1970s. So parental reactions affect the emotions of a baby, right? So as you are smiling, laughing, and trying to get the baby to smile and laugh, and you show that baby love when it does that, the baby learns from those emotions, right? When a baby falls down and you freak out and, are you okay? Oh my gosh. The baby might start crying even though it wouldn't have if you didn't react like that. And baby falls down and you are very positive about them tripping and falling. They pick up on those cues. So when a connection between infant caregiver is broken, the infant attempts to engage the caregiver. Eye contact, smiling, sad, angry, whatever it might be. If there is no response by the caregiver, by the mom, the infant pulls back. Okay, so that'll have physical impacts, that'll have emotional impacts. So the babies, they need this reinforcement. They need this assurance and comfort from parents' facial expressions. Harry Harlow, Harlow study with baby monkeys, but basically it would not be able to be pulled off today. Very controversial. It's essentially he treats some monkeys like Genie, the case study Genie, and it's unethical. Wouldn't be able to pull it off today. Anyways. He is studying maternal separation, okay? So these baby monkeys are essentially in a chamber, a room by themselves, more or less, right? And they're able to drink milk or nutrients. They're able to feed. But the mom is a fake, pretend, created monkey. One of them is very soft. It's cloth. It's warm, right? So it's kind of inviting and welcoming. And then the other feeding is like basically like wire. It's cold. It's hard. It probably gets in their skin. It's rough. And the monkeys, they study basically, which ones, obviously in this common sense, but the monkeys that didn't have any nurture or comfort or anything like that, they had social problems and they didn't react well, and they were more scared, and they were more cautious than the monkey that was assigned to the chamber that had the cloth and the warmth. You also had some monkeys that were isolated in chambers all to themselves and were intentionally neglected. For several months, they were basically treated like they didn't exist and neglected and barely fed enough to be kept alive and didn't have any social interaction or anything like that. And it just, the conclusion is, we need love. We need comfort. We need security. We need confidence. We need caregiving. We need affection and relationships, right? That is how we turn into good human beings. Parenting styles. Okay, real quick. Diana Bommerand, real quick. Authoritarian. We did this last year, but authoritarian. Kids should follow strict rules without exception, right? These are the parents who said, because I said so, right? No negotiating whatsoever. They use discipline and punishments, strict obedience, and these children are going to be at high risk for low self-esteem, for self-esteem issues, okay? Authoritative, rules and consequences, but they also listen to their child's opinions. They also listen to their child's input. They invest time and energy into resolving issues with their children. They try to teach them, what they should do differently. They use positive reinforcement. That these children tend to be happy and positive, are able to build relationships, are able to foster responsibility, and they have a comfortable level of self-esteem. Permissive, okay? So the parents are very lenient, little to no consequences. They are overly forgiving and easy to persuade. It's almost like more of a friend to their child than they are a parent. They give into begging, they give into crying. When their kid messes up, kids will be kids. They struggle. The kids are going to struggle academically. They're going to struggle with discipline in school, and they're going to have some behavior issues. And then the last one is uninvolved. Little knowledge or involvement with their children whatsoever. This would be very sad. Few to no rules or consequences because, again, there's so little involvement. Little or no guidance. Okay, so that's going to be kind of a big difference between uninvolved and authoritarian. Authoritarian, very involved, right? They want everything their way. And uninvolved, I mean, exactly like it sounds like. There's going to be self-esteem issues. There's going to be very poor school reports, and there's going to be behavior problems. All right, I'm going to stop it right there. Hopefully kept under 20 minutes. Knock that out. I got the Zoom invite coming soon. I sent out some review questions to you today. All right, guys, see you.